Bidam bim by dim by bam bidam bedai. Bidam bim by dim by. Pretending a soca party when I meet it Latin beauty. When I see she well shaped with looks to get low my. I make a move and we started talking. She said I look like a distinguished yardie. Then she tell me boy I'm feeling no party. She show me emotion that gets my attention. Then got me in a cozy corner and whisper softly to me, groove me and move me in this soca party. She said to move me and move me, work up me body, groove me till I feel the pressure, groove me till I'm not all over, groove me till I
Yes, happy Friday. People, it's Real Talk Live. And, well, the others coming inside just now. Right? So I hope that everybody had a good week despite, we were under a tropical storm watch on Tuesday. We have to be thankful, grateful for everything that the storm did not hit us. Right? So, today could be a fantastic Friday for many, right? So we want to just be, give thanks now. And the topic of the hour is what makes a couple stay together. So while, we're waiting for everybody to jump out inside here, we want to say congratulations to everyone, each student who wrote SCA and, they received their results. Whether they like it or not, you're making history in these times because you're doing exams in the pandemic, right? And we know that once you do your best, that's what matters most. That's what matters most. And wherever it might seem like a setback, but no, you're gonna have a greater comeback. Yeah, just a little motivation.
Yeah, excellent. Really topic.
What makes a couple stay together?
Wow. So if you
Yeah,
don't
I had
join that
one.
celebration, it's Real Talk Live on a Friday night. Yo, they kind of way chilling. Chica, really went to that store, boy.
Hmm.
Oh,
Hey, I just
oh,
being
yeah,
thankful
you.
right now.
Well, we give thanks to those, but you see when they're hype up. Shit, and you
People
just be
wanted to
hype.
be hype.
Yeah, but we just take
And
hype.
they buy the candles, they buy the matches, they buy a whole bale of toilet paper and more.
Yeah, we,
I
we,
don't
we
know where
really
it is
take
with
hype.
toilet paper these days.
Oh, yeah, that's what I want to toilet paper. I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know, but they buy it up. I don't know.
yeah, the vibes was very
Really
interesting.
see.
So
Yeah,
before we
just
jump
hope
into
that if it is,
the
when time
topic,
comes back around.
before we jump into this craziness, what is going on with the what is the latest for this about Shrine? Going on.
Well, people, don't worry, releasing the date soon.
To be announced.
Soon. Yeah. Right? Just
Soon
know
to
it
be
happening in
announced.
August. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very long.
let's go. Team Miami, super you get. Push back, baby. Push back on the bamboo, baby.
Any vibes?
Yes.
That's the vibe. So Chika, I want to start off with your view. What's your view on this topic?
It's a very interesting topic, because when it is people have long lasting relationships, couples, because we're talking about couples tonight, the thing about it is in order to have that long lasting relationship, you need to put in a lot of work. People just think it's a walk in the park, right? It doesn't be a bed of roses. And just remember, if it is a bed of roses, roses have thorns too, right?
Correct.
So it wouldn't always be this smooth sailing. And I think that is what people is, they be a little bit confused thinking that when they get into a relationship with someone, It's supposed to be smooth sailing, everything's supposed to be nice, it's supposed to be smiling and laughing with your partner all day, every day.
Right.
And that is not reality. So we need to, be real and get the facts straight. Yeah, so one thing that really came to, because I was thinking about it, what makes couples really stay together, right? Now, I always say that, my parents, this year, it would be 31 years since they got married, right? It has some people, it's 45 years they are married and all these things, and in order to go that length.
That longevity. What do you think causes that
So,
longevity?
one thing first, I will say mutual interest.
Okay.
It have a number one. So in order for even the person to get together and it have a mutual interest, whether it be based on religious beliefs, whether it be career wise, because it have some people when they look, you realize that wait now, these couples they may not be working the same place, but they kind of in the same field, right? It have people their interests in sports, so there'll always be a wrong person or they may be into health and fitness. It have to have whatever that person's passion is, the other person as well have some sort of either mutual interest or some passion in that field. So that is to begin with, because that they always doing, they may not be around each other every time, but you will see that mutual interest, and that is one.
I go say other things.
I know I have other things to say too.
Yeah.
It have so much more. So it's a real nice topic on what makes a couple stay together, because it have real plenty things to talk about on this. Yeah. It might be plenty, it might be few.
People can't stay together.
It's true, because they don't have all the ingredients. They don't have all the ingredients, Yeah, it have a lot of things that come into the pot. So I don't know if my mommy might pop up on the live. I think what it is to say they have is 3 C's. I remember one is communication, one is compromise, but I can't remember what is the third one right now.
Right. If you don't join us as Real Talk Live, you can always place in the comment section, people, what you think is the number one driving force in persons staying together. What do you think is the number one driving force? So you have a lot of things that allow people to stay together, but what do you think is the most important?
That most important will be different for everybody, yes?
Yes,
because for some people, it might really truly be that love. They really love one another, right?
Sure, right?
No, I just saying it's how some people, they just really, wherever, it has some people really have that true love.
Right.
And that true love, it will have a lot of things that come with that true love, because you will not have real patience with that person. Because when you love somebody, you just be really patient and understanding. So from last week, when it is you ask, what it is you're looking for? If it is you have patience, that is a day. You have the tolerance that you're done. And some people, you might see couples, they might have arguments and stuff, right? And other people looking out, looking outside in, may say, oh, them always quarreling so. But that's just maybe their way of communicating, right? They might just always be like that. But they have patience. They might just, they won't hold their tongue then. Some people might say holding the tongue is very important in the relationship, because there's always say woman mouths put them in trouble for whatever. It's always the woman mouth putting them in trouble, right? So over the years, so sometimes women learn how to hold their tongue when coming to certain things, right? Everybody make a little bit of adjustment. So the little compromise really then comes in.
Right.
For certain things, not everything, but for certain things. Right? Because sometimes you see little things, sometimes people make a problem when you have somebody, but you're together for so long, why you're divorced? Sometimes it's like things that you might say petty is not making sense.
Well, I would say that again, what would be the number one driving force?
Some people, it might be money. once it is the money right in the relationship, they might
Good.
stay. They might say everything good. So
Right.
it could be different for everyone. So couples who have been together, how long we given? How much? Yes, we given
Mhm.
15 years. That's so people who are within the let us say between I know
Well,
what bracket to give.
10 years would be that kind of scenario, and you're saying long lasting.
Long.
No,
All
it's
right, so we're
10,
giving a
10,
10.
right?
Oh Lord.
Right. So when we come back, we're gonna talk. Chika, I seeing this top up vibes. I realize people on 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 edge. This top up by Chika boy. So for people who not aware, what you would say this top up online scenario is about, because this is the craze right now. Yeah.
Well, what I will say is that this top up is really convenient for a lot of people. So like you'll see Monday with a tropical storm
Yeah.
and them long lines in grocery and whatever, and people saying I need a little top up because I might
Right.
need to call somebody, I might need to call for help.
Yeah.
People start to top up one time. If it is a phone was empty, they say nah. I need to have a little something. Even if it means that little $20 on my phone just to make a quick call, right?
Yeah.
So
So
the
if
top
you
up
only know what
provides
to
a
talk
lot
about,
of
it's this actually.
convenience.
Yeah. So it's this actually. Yeah.
Are you tired of waiting in long lines? Are you tired of saying, oh snap, I forgot to top up at an inconvenient time? Here's what. Burn Team has got you and your loved ones covered. No hassle, no worries. You can get topped up at the snap of your fingertips with both Digicel and B-Mobile, anywhere and anytime. You can pay with cash or online. WhatsApp us at 346-8730, where it's safe, easy, and convenient.
Yes, so people, it is definitely safe, it is definitely easy, and definitely convenient. So, you may have your loved ones out there, they may need to be topped up, they may be in a space where they really cannot get a top up. Some people might say the word phone card, right? They can't get that mobile credit. And you can be the person who could just hit that WhatsApp button and get the transaction done for your loved one wherever they are, right? So it is, a real nice tool, a really nice opportunity for anybody who has an emergency, anybody who just realized, hey, it's this time, why when I get top up now, boy? It really comes in very handy. And we just want to say thanks for our valuable customers. We have some customers is they really definitely hitting the anywhere and anytime when it comes to being topped up, whether it's for themselves, a friend, a family member, you know. So that's the top up. All you have to do is just hit that WhatsApp button and get more information. You can do via transfer, you can pay with cash, you can do a fast deposit, whichever one works for you. You can swipe a card, right? So it's which one works for you.
Chika, your boy, he say he don't reach it, so he trying to come on there.
You trying to come on?
Yeah. So, I would say for long lasting or longevity, it must have purpose in being around the person. Without purpose,
It
I
must
think
have what? Or purpose.
purpose.
Right.
Purpose. So again, it might start off hot and sweaty. Only know when you take the start off
Hot
you
and
know what I'm
sweaty.
do, right? It start off hot and sweaty, right? And in a little year, sometimes less than that. They take this boil down. It doesn't be at the within fast and go fast. You know what I mean? So if it doesn't have any sort of purpose, I think that you would be under a lot of problem.
True.
Yeah, because
Yeah, because
that's the honeymoon phase, chica. Everybody for the honeymoon
mm-hmm.
phase. That's an alien. Right, but finally, so don't they give you some kind of vibration. Right. Miss Battle, let's go on
Evening.
the front line. Here we go, you
Evening.
know. You have a question.
What's
What
that?
is the number one reason for staying together? Write the question.
So you just hit that question and gone?
Hmm.
You give people time to think on nothing. Well, anyhow, I don't really have to think about that. Once I love you and I deeply care for you, and I see that you reciprocate the same thing, I would stay. That is the reason for me staying. If I don't see that being reciprocated, then head the reject.
So if it is, so do you think is love for the person that makes like couples really stay together? Like on a whole, like what do you think makes couples stay together in general?
Honestly, I don't know because couples will stay together for multiple reasons. I could only speak for me because for me, that is my reason. For other couples, I see couples will stay for money, they will stay for sex, they will stay for material gains. Some would stay like me for love. Some would stay just because they have children together, or they have business together, or they have property together. So it's multiple reasons. Yeah, each
Mm-hmm.
couple is different.
Yes, so same thing I was saying earlier to Lion. For each person, it will have a different reason why it is this couple is staying together. It really does. Because sometimes the reason might be to somebody else, it might be like, that is why you staying there. Because as I say, the love is not being reciprocated, but because they're getting some sort of material gain, that could be
Hmm.
one of the reasons that they are staying in that relationship. It have some people who stay because they know they might lose some inheritance, and of course the old age with where it is they have children in that relationship and they don't want to have a broken home. People, if it is, it have any sort of every time it's a quarrel and a fight and a fuss,
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense.
Yeah, big
Because
up the sugar mamas on the inside. You know, I like to launch up the sugar mamas on the foreground. And you know, here it's always be full. So since we have Sonali here, you know, we never really officially welcome Sonali as the director of the well, actually, in Full TV.
Oh,
So we never really got the opportunity to welcome Sonali as the director. So for the see this girl appearing from nowhere and, you know, really too sure. So let me see what she look like here. This is can look like. Right. So officially, Sonali, which is this person to the bottom, man, Chica. Well, I know Chica, right? But we never really officially welcome Sonali. So
thank
welcome,
you, thank you.
Sonali. And this is what she does do technically.
Celebrating a special occasion or just appreciating someone? Then get at Burn Team Treats for any of our guilt-free signature cakes that's made with love.
and there he disappears again. Right. So for those of you who are now joining us, the topic of the hour is what makes a couple stay together. And if you have been in a relationship with someone for 10 years plus, let us know what made you and your partner stay together for that length of time. Because for everyone, it is truly, different. It is really different. And beside, the main foundation, because everybody foundation, I don't know what some persons build their relationship on, but as I was saying earlier, it takes a lot of work. It's not a walk in the park. It takes time, it takes energy, and it takes effort to keep that relationship going strong
It's so true.
as possible.
It's another job.
Well, if you want to call it a job, right? But we want to be able to say, "Hey, what?" Because some people, for them, a job is not a job. They might be passionate about it, so they don't see it as a job. So if it is they really love that person, you don't mind putting in the
True.
time, the effort,
Honestly.
yeah. So it's not really,
Agree.
yeah. So once it is you really love that person, is you're giving it your all. And hopefully the person is doing the same. So Sonali, I see her eating there. Is that the chocolate cake?
No, red velvet.
No, red velvet. All right. I'm delighted now, so I'm not sure what's right. So Sonali makes red velvet as well. Right. So you'll on the link you will also see Sonali's number. So if it is you want to be in direct contact with the baker herself and cake decorator, everything. Sonali, where because I know some people just bake cake, some people just decorate, some people do both.
I do both. I do pastries as well. Snacks. The only thing I haven't well, I can't say mastered. I don't call myself a master. The only thing I haven't put my hand to was chocolatiering.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So I have a question for the behind us just running wild. So can you ladies have a serious, really a long-term relationship and the man broken? Only let me know now. Only place in the comment section if the man broken, how long term that lasted.
So why you only in and out, in and out?
Ah, this thing, people. Right. So the thing about it is, right, when it comes to the financial aspect of, the relationship, if it is because sometimes, I mean, things happen in life. Right now, some persons may say, here, what it is, it might be easy, especially now, for someone to get a job, right? Out there. It has so many different opportunities. It has security, it has construction, it has drivers, it has warehouse workers. Mine is just get through with a job. For that, because we know Lion talking, when he say broken, we know he talking about the dollars, right? Not really a person who is broken emotionally or because it can be broken in so many different ways. It's not a she. It's a right? It can be broken in different ways. So you don't want a man who is broken in all forms they could think about, really and truly. Because then it becomes what to say? It can become very stressful.
A challenge.
Right? Yeah. Now, if it is, the man is going out there, you've seen him, applying for jobs, he actually making efforts and making strides. He will have to get through someday, right? He will have to get through someday. It might have a reason why it is.
So if the man is a proper house man, right?
No.
If the man, listen, if the man is a proper house man.
With no money?
If the man is a proper house man,
with no income?
Nothing.
No, it's not no house man here. Good evening, Mr. Fletcher.
So then, I want you to tell me, right? So then tell me, what is the number one quality to keep a relationship? I'm interested. Make me proud. Yeah. So, only a proper house around you. You know the man singing in the background?
You see that proper house man thing? Not in this day and age. I don't even think it was in any age as a matter of fact.
So. Yeah, but it have ladies who not working. And guys tend to not to overlook that.
Well, those are some guys, not all guys, they have the,
But you
and now the
see,
thing about it is that when it is into the woman, what it is I realize, it have some men, right? Those men who allow their woman to stay at home,
Right.
works nowhere, draws no pay, and every day is a holiday,
Mhm.
right? They know that if it is, and she have nobody else to turn to, she is financially dependent on that man,
Correct.
right? And it have some men love to have that sort of control
Yeah.
over their woman,
the exact same
right?
thing that I was about to say.
So,
So my question is no.
and I know it
Finance.
has some women will take the opportunity to be in control of a man financially too. It have some women who will do that, that that man be financially dependent on her, and that is not okay. I'm not okay with that.
So the houseman performing all the house duties. Your money right. You really giving him the lifestyle. You have to
And nope,
a serious
could clean and
relationship.
all that. Mm-mm. I don't know about man staying home, seeing about the house. I don't know about that. Sorry. I've grown up seeing my father working. Yes. I
So,
know about all the males I've seen around is
right.
work. So when it come in, you're working. Don't be hey, as a houseman, I could cook, I could clean anybody and everybody could do that.
You
You
understand
understand
it?
what I'm saying?
I
But not
think that
everybody
the
could cook,
houseman
eh?
could provide. Anyway, it's a profession. I think that a houseman. All right. Remember. Right.
Next thing
So,
when he home, he doing just like some of them house ladies. Like the lady who bring the wassa man while the man out there working hard. You understand? You ain't nobody doing no extra thing while it is you home and see you taking care of the home. You understand?
so
Right.
if you're not joining us, we pick up it.
What
Right, so then you're going to shoot that, I was told you. You're going to shoot that.
is that? Can't be a houseman and doing halfway.
Right. So then if Rihanna say, hey, I want 2 billion and stay home, I go fix that. You just do what you have to do. So if you're now joining us, people, Chica will give you all what is the topic for today. The topic for today is
What makes a couple stay together?
I would say, as I said before, purpose. It must have purpose in the relationship. If the relationship is to get to the 20s, so you know how it starts off. You only reach when you reach 10 years, right? Like when you reach, but to reach beyond 10. So, Chica, what you think? Sonali, what you think? I mean, in this world here we're dealing with right now.
Mm-hmm.
Do people get involved in relationships thinking about next 15, 20 years? Think about it. Think about it.
Some
People
people
get
take
into
it one
relationships
day at a time.
once
These days,
you see the one day
Also,
at a you see because why I would say something like that is because if you're not planned in having something long term, then you wouldn't lay the foundation for it. So, people, if you're now joining us, you see the one day at a time and hope. If we're
yeah,
gonna,
it have some people. It have
yeah,
some people like that. They're taking it one day at a time
no,
because they don't really,
it can't do
they
that
ain't
because
really plan. They might
yeah,
say,
you can't take it
I
one day
ain't
at a time.
sure.
you will get
They're
very few
doubting.
people thinking about going 10, 15, 20 years.
Listen, what I'm trying to
Nowadays,
say is
most
that
people,
what I'm trying to say is that
mm-hmm,
your foundation and your planning should be set in advance. Because if you really planning to stay more than 10 years with a person, you would know the parameters in which the relationship should be. Most of the time, how people just get into a relation, they see the man in some place, or you see the woman in a club or a lounge or somewhere, because everybody doing now, right? Everybody going out. Big up my girl, I know she out, I call she there and she out. So big up Jizan. Right? Just everybody going out. and to socialize, as we just say. But really and truly, most of the times, most of these hookups, it is be hookups, right? Everything is, I meet him by a bar or I meet him. When you ask people, where did you meet that man or woman? You know what I mean? It's in a club.
They can meet anywhere. They could meet, remember,
Most
people
of the
meeting in
time.
the church, the mosque, the
No.
gym, on the road. All
Most
these
of the
things, they could
time,
meet
In
anywhere.
school, on work,
what I'm saying,
Exactly.
you
in a
see,
carnival band launch.
no, you see, again, most of the relationships is met in a place of socialization. The woman thought she weave and thing and looking best to attract. Yes, it is at times you'll meet maybe that church is socialization, because if you see
Well,
all them
yes, it is.
just up at the church, if you see all of this just
Mm-hmm.
up at the church,
That's what I'm saying.
right? But my point is why? Because what you're trying to attract, but then you attract the man and you have no plan. Both of you all have no plan, If you was to stop couples who between 2 to 3 years, what is all the plan? But what is all the plan other than what are you doing right? Nobody would be able to answer, Where's your 5 year plan? Well, let's sit down and plan the next year. Where's the plan for the next 3 months? Yeah. So again, it boils right back down to planning. And it has something called family planning. That's why all these children being
Mm-hmm.
born wild, That's why them children being born all about. I could be honest with that. Because nobody wasn't planning. You see, even a plan from before, you want to be bringing children into the world and then you have 3 child father. And then you're married. So you see, if we, because everybody makes mistakes in life, but think about it. We're not planning anything. Most of the children, when you check coming into this world and you ask the mother and father, boy, if I only tell you how you reach here. Most of the time, there was not thought out plan. I could say that, right? There was no thought out plan. And if it did have a thought out plan, knowing that we plan to be around each other for the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, then it would have some kind of context in which the relationship would have been built on, or we just say, hey, we're going on. Pack up your book in your knapsack, we go. Tell me what I think.
And why you had to stir trouble and go? But it's true. Most couples, most relationships, they don't plan. They just happen. Wherever they meet, and I love 5 minutes of fun, and it's a oops, you serious? It happens. So
Yes, it does. Most times,
then,
people, they don't plan because sometimes you might find out the person might be together for a year or two and the baby just came along. They didn't plan to go they didn't plan to be with that person any time longer than 2 years. And as I say, some people just having fun, and in the fun, they forget about, as the saying goes, ensuring that you protect yourself and help prevent yourself from becoming
yeah.
a
And half the
statistic.
time, and even if no baby comes along, half the time it's like, well, we just meet and we like one another, and and we start dealing. Also, they
Yeah.
operate along that mannerism, and then half the time is like, well, I just taken it slow because in the past, most of the excuse that I personally heard is like, well, girl is this, man is this, and me ain't going through that headache again, so I taken it slow. That too is
And
not
that
even
time
a
they're
plan.
going faster. That
They are
time
going,
very
yeah,
fast, and they
they
thinking
are
that
going
they are
very
taking it
fast.
slow.
And that too is not a plan. Okay, yes, it was hurt in the past, but that taking it slow is also not a plan unless you all are coming together, sitting down and discussing what you're seeing for one another, what you're seeing for yourself first and foremost, where you think this is going, and so forth. So That's why I would say it will have very few that could say, okay, we plan on dating for a couple years, we move in after a certain amount of years, we do this, we do that, then plan marriage and all that. It have very few that will do that. Everybody else
Yeah.
is just, well, I love him, I love she, and well, so by so. There's always a well. Once you start off with well, or you don't know, it doesn't have a plan.
Yes, very true. Very, very true. And the thing about it is, some persons, for whatever reason, when and it has different things that affect the way that people think about relationships on a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it could have children involved, it may not have children involved. Some may have been hurt, some may have been abused, and it will affect the decisions that they make. Some people just may not want to be in a committed or serious relationship, but they just, because the person might say they want to have a committed relationship, they just play along and just
Yeah.
carry that person
Mm-hmm.
along, thinking that we're heading to a very good destination. When it's done, they just drop you off in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, and it
interesting thing,
and they do that a lot.
the
Mm-hmm.
interesting scenario, I had a good partner. He was a good fella. You know what I mean? He wasn't a bad fella. No, with the Hunters Association, we stem from certain ilks.
Now, we must
He was,
take
he was
aside for
a
this.
good fella, and he was a good guy. And he, hard working and stuff. He ain't too sure about he had, but he working, on the million man, that kind of thing. And the woman he married, I would say married because it reached there. Yeah, much people still around in this marriage thing, but the woman he married, she was very sure of where she was going. I know the young lady, well, she ain't a young lady now, but I know the wife and I very good friends. So the husband and I are good friends. The wife is very good friends. But in this particular instance, he was kind of he working here, so he was no houseman. We big up all the houseman getting paid all the love, right? So he was now
There's a
houseman, he was
lady.
working, but the woman, the girl he was with, was very, very focused. She knew where she was going. I'd already meet people that, all right, are doing A, B, C. By the time I was 25, 27, 34, that is how she is meticulous. And you know what he tell me? He said, I ain't too sure about myself, but this woman, I can't leave this woman going somewhere. And she is the one who decided to take him along with her. And that is another thing why people stay together. And that is opposite rules. And normally the man is the man. That, you know what I mean? But I had to share that because it was literally no, it's not that he was not ambitious and working and stuff. It's that she knew where she going. Right? And because she knows where she's going, he found that sense of comfort to say, hey, that's with the same. She
There's
need that woman. You know what I mean? I go flex.
no,
Right?
there's a sense of what's the word I'm looking for?
I want to security
Consistency.
because
There's
my woman is
consistency and
so that time.
stability.
But she was very much driven. She knew and planned and the children and this wow. She knew what she wanted. And that helped that relationship immensely. Yeah. So sometimes when one person has a direct goal, it kind of helps the other person to move and see the
Mm-hmm.
value in having foresight. So staying together, it must have one person that have foresight and then the other person who respect the foresight because he could have say, and she making way more money than he. So it was on that kind of spectrum. So he could have be go and say, oh, yeah, he's the man. Rah, rah, rah. No, he didn't do that. And that is humility to it. Because normally a man would have been the one, the person he was looking for with that type of role. And up to now, they're still married, right? So I wanted to share that because it's the woman who knew, well, had that direct knowledge of where she want to go, what she want to do, and what she doing this year. She used to sit down and plan what she doing this year. It was very interesting to watch because she was very, he was the opposite. Yes, so it used to have, it was no perfect rip thing, eh? It used to have plenty rips because it's like somebody who planning everything and then somebody who just
Hmm.
spontaneous. So it was interesting to watch them argue because, she planning she week and he like, yeah, let me change it. And sometimes it was good that she listened because sometimes she's so planning everything that she didn't leave room for a little spontaneity. So he was that spontaneity in the relationship. So think about this. The woman was the driven, focused, well planned machine, and the man was the Viking kind of free spirited. So it worked.
It had balance no matter
Yes,
what.
but he needed
There was
that, and
homeostasis.
he needed that type of woman, and she needed that type of man. So I think thinking about it, that kind of balance, the yin to your yang is what I would say. Sometimes one person might be strong in a certain area and then the other person might be weak. So let's think about that scenario and synopsis because they're still married. Strange neither.
Yeah. Well, that is good. That is good.
That,
But one
that
thing I
is
do think that
also,
this work is, see, it's two Viking person and two loud person in a house. Everybody needs to, everybody's stubborn and strong. When is that? Sometimes it doesn't always work. You either need somebody who plan or both persons planning or one person who is very outgoing and the next one maybe not so, too much out there. It works. Everybody's different is what works for that person. It's really what works for the person.
true.
Really
And
and truly.
I kind of go for their relationship as a complete balance. So each person complement the other no matter what. Because you could tell where her weaknesses, where her strengths are, where his
Mm-hmm.
weaknesses, and where his strengths are. So you could literally see it from Lion's description there off the bat. I don't know them, but you could tell exactly one time. And they balance each other out no matter what. So there's
Yeah,
constant harmony. Then I'm not saying there won't be any ups or downs, but you could tell right
it
through
works.
must be about 85% there's harmony, honestly
Yeah,
and truly.
mm-hmm. Definitely works. Definitely.
So
But I don't know
I will I
if
will,
two
I will call them a
persons
rare
were.
gem.
Yeah, I do. You see, yeah, but I think that too, like if I well not, because some persons can be spontaneous, but it have persons who were just too overspenders in a household, not managing
Yeah.
the funds. That is a problem. To me, that will be a challenge.
No,
Nothing
no,
wrong with
that
her.
is that is a serious challenge. The fact that
Mm-hmm.
you cannot sit down and manage your money, or you can't even say, okay, you were spontaneous, but you can't recall what you spent money on. You can't even track it. For me, that is a no-no. I could go spontaneous and you could come back about 2 weeks later and say, oh, but you spent your money on. I already know what I spent my money on. I could track that. I don't even have to go back on piece of paper. But
Right.
people who like, I don't know, I just had the money and I we blow that dust. Like, no, that's a no-no for me. Because I
This
can't
is true.
trust you with I can't trust you at all with this little. If I can't trust you with a small amount, so imagine if I have to hand you something large, I have to be
Mm-hmm.
constantly worrying about my money or something. So, and worse yet, if it is we have bills or whatever, when tax collector come, what you going to tell
Yeah.
them? I'd like to say we don't have the dust.
Hmm.
I'm not for that.
Trevor G is saying plenty things can make a couple or more than a couple stay together. You got
Yeah,
to know
man.
what you're about long term and know what you're about if one decides to go their own way.
Vibes. Yeah, Trevor, I know where you're coming. I don't know because I wasn't seeing it coming up, so I copy it and paste it. Yeah, so big up yourself, Trevor, on the inside. Right, big up Andy Miller on the inside.
Good night and
Fellas, boy.
daily.
Fellas tonight, but like it's a fellas night, boy. All right? Yeah. So you see how interesting, you know, when it's bacchanal, Ruben appear, but imagine
Hmm.
you seeing guys, you know, giving the contribution about staying together.
Hmm.
I think the norm of where women view men mind is wrong right now because guys know I want you guys before COVID we want some guys and them in a juvie and fellas change it a lot they keeping away we watching video where the lady had the mixer remember and no guys turn up. You know what I mean? And I think fellas kinda just sit back because of what ladies may be expecting. So if you're now joining us, Andy, what would you say is the right or most important feature of our relationship to stay together? We're talking more than 10 years. You know what you think? What do you say?
I don't say what I have to say.
And big up the sugar mamas at the inside. All the
But
housemen
tomorrow,
inside.
we will be dealing with the baby mamas.
Oh God, Saturday. So Saturday night,
Hopefully.
ladies night, baby mama
Hopefully.
come. If you're interested, Andy, will be coming to that. The guys will be falling in on that one. I'll make sure of it. Right? The only thing goes. And I would say again, a relationship, whether it be friendship, anything with a ship, you know, relationship, friendship, it has to be going somewhere. It has to be going somewhere. And even if
And
you're
it must have a
friends,
destination.
and I listen to the young people they today, Chica, and there's some kind of music on the radio, they but they have a song them boys singing. And they talk about they want one new friends, right? So they come down here. Coach, we have a new friend. I only see these 10 fingers, I only know them friends. So I asked the young men and them, I say, all right, these 10 friends on them, on your hand, on your 10 fingers, right? What these 10 friends does bring to your life? We just find myself singing some, you know, they used to sing some songs, I know I just get with them, when I hear them singing it and know what the song is about, I try now to get into them to try to ask themselves one. So the topic is, what is the quality for a long-term relationship? So because you know the man in primary school, you're going to keep him as your friend because you went primary school with the person, right? So what these friends doing for you? What do these friends edify you? You know what I'm telling you? You know, my real good friend coming up in our fight the other day because I said, wait, hold on. So you think you need a new friend? You understand what I'm saying? So let us get out of the habit. I say just because somebody is here for a million years, them getting you in fights every week, but you don't want no new friends. Yes, you need new friends because these old friends not elevating them. Yeah? So if it is we realize that in the relationship, you know, we kind of not growing. We could sit down and have a word. Yeah? That's it. Because it will have times we just get complacent, it will have times that we so accustomed, especially when the relationship lasting long. You see, when relationships start to last long, people just kind of get, you know, accustomed and used to it and the spark on. So it's good that every so often you reevaluate. Talk to me. What do you think? What about reevaluation in the relationship so that you make sure that the ship stay on course? Talk to me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's food for thought. That's true. Because personally, if I look back, friends that I had from must be just like what I say from primary school. Those bridges burned like so long ago. Honestly, if I see you or whatever, and you happen to heal me, yeah, I will acknowledge you, honestly and truly. But to say we will go back, go down the road, go back and that place, no.
No.
Those bridges
Correct.
burned so long time. I said those bridges ablaze because what benefit are you bringing me now in my life? So
Correct. And even some people, they are just there for a very short time. You know, sometimes a
mhm.
relationship may just really last for 3 months. That's the period you know that person for. They serve the purpose then, and then that's it. Everybody
Yeah,
won't be there for a lifetime. Everybody will
no,
not be there for a lifetime. So yes, that reevaluation or evaluation of the relationship, you know, different stages. When you make a 3 years, then you know you make a next three. When you make 10 years, you know, you do a little evaluation and see, okay, yeah,
mhm.
you do a SWOT on the whole relationship itself. What are the strengths here? What are the weaknesses? You know, all these different things we can do for our relationships to even, you know, make it better. Once it is after your evaluation, you realize, okay, will it make sense moving forward or should we really end this here? So yeah.
No, true, so true. But to me, I wouldn't say evaluate like in such a long space. You should evaluate constantly. You know, like for me, I would say every year. It's a, of course, some people will acknowledge their anniversary or like a milestone or so. You
Mm-hmm.
just you don't have to go a deep evaluation. You just do a light evaluation because if it is you cannot look at the moment like how companies will do short-term evaluation, long-term evaluation. If it is you cannot do a short-term evaluation, just to ensure that both of you actually are staying on the same track. By the time it comes to that 2 year or 3 year time to sit down to evaluate and go over, you're going to hold your head and say like, okay, how did we reach here?
True.
If it goes wrong, you're going to be
Yeah,
wondering
true.
like, what the hell happened?
So yeah,
So,
short-term evaluation as well is important. And you have to decide how deep you want to go to. Because some
hmm
people they just let things, they turn a blind eye to certain things and they say, nah, everything going good. They don't do a really proper evaluation and then they can be doing those short term but they miss all the red flag, everything. So nah, people do, you know, people do the short term and they say, nah, he or she going and change man. That's just no, you know. But it could be
So
the real honeymoon and
a short-term
everything.
houseman might find a short-term houseman might be able to find, you know, a little roost and you know, hold a fort for a little month or something to help, you know.
Hmm.
Short-term now. So let the Morris ladies night. And it's all about the baby mama drama scenario. So we really
Mm-hmm.
go that. That'll be interesting. Yeah? And all you know, the bus ride is slowly approaching. We'll give already the exact date next week Friday on the Talk Live. We're gonna give already the date next week Friday. Hopefully. Right, so we go on this we go make it known. I said I need to big up Miss Bartolomew. Again, welcome to two directors, and I just pull myself up. But we officially welcome him tonight. And she got the front. Anna. Andy, I'm gonna tell you when to buy them tickets and them. Don't worry. We coming to you. We coming to you soon. Yeah, faster I like it. Think anything else before we go?
Nothing else.
Good to go, Sadali. Any crazy upcoming menus that we could look out for? I know you like to keep up and set of things, and then we start have a discussion about cost price. This kind of dreams is what to be said.
At the moment, no, just contemplating a bit of a tiramisu cup so.
Candy Barbara, but we have a bus ride coming up. Chica, you tell Candy. Yes, Candy Barbara. And listen to this, you didn't know, it's this.
Push back on the bamboo, baby.
That is it. So I have a good night. Want to thank these two lovely ladies there. It was nice. Chica. Nothing.
See you tomorrow for the baby mama drama.
Baby Mama Drama Saturday night. Candy, come in and put in your 2 cents. Yes, so Candy Barbara, book your ticket. On we gone, long.
Hot and groovy in the soca party. She's hot and groovy. Baila with me, baby. Bambida, bedai.